Imagine waiting more than 3 decades for a love story to return. A story that once defined romance on the big screen. A story that captured hearts, broke barriers, and gave the world one of the most unforgettable on-screen couples of all time. Now, after 35 years, that story is about to continue? Yes, it's official. Pretty Woman is coming back, not as a remake, not as a rumor, but as a brand new sequel, set to release in December 2025, and this time it's called Pretty Woman. A second chance. For years, Hollywood has been filled with whispers, speculation, and endless fan petitions asking the same question. Will there ever be a sequel to Pretty Woman? The 1990 film, starring Julia Roberts as the unforgettable Vivian Ward and Richard Gere as the charming Edward Lewis, wasn't just another romantic comedy. It was lightning in a bottle. It became one of the highest-grossing films of its time. And more importantly, it redefined what a love story could look like. But after its massive success, no follow-up ever came. The story ended with that iconic scene, Edward climbing the fire escape with a bouquet of flowers to win Vivian's heart. For over 3 decades, fans wondered, what happened next? Did Vivian and Edward live happily ever after? Or did life, with all its complexities, test their love in ways we never saw? Now, in 2025, we're finally getting answers. The sequel, officially titled Pretty Woman, A Second Chance, has been confirmed for a December release. The announcement came as a surprise to many, considering Hollywood's long list of failed attempts to recreate classics. But this isn't a remake or a reboot. This is a continuation, a story that picks up years later, giving audiences a chance to see where life has taken these beloved characters. And just the thought of that has already sent waves of excitement across the film world. Why now? Why after so many years? Industry insiders say the sequel was born out of timing and passion. The original cast and creative team had always been hesitant to revisit the story, fearing they couldn't capture the same magic. But now, with the changing landscape of cinema and a generation hungry for nostalgia, the moment feels right. The idea isn't to replace the original, but to expand on it, to explore love not in its youthful beginning, but in its mature, complicated, and deeply human second chapter. The official studio statement described the film as a heartfelt journey about love rediscovered, choices reconsidered, and the idea that second chances can come when you least expect them. That alone has fans speculating wildly about the plot. Could Vivian and Edward still be together after all these years? Or will the story reveal that life took them in different directions, only to bring them back together in surprising ways? The title, A Second Chance, seems to suggest the latter. And that adds a layer of mystery, drama, and anticipation to what could easily become one of the most talked about releases of the decade. What makes this announcement even more exciting is the timing. December releases in Hollywood aren't just dates on a calendar, they're statements. They're reserved for films that studios believe have the potential to become cultural events. From holiday classics to Oscar contenders, December is when the biggest stories are told, when the lights shine the brightest. By placing Pretty Woman, A Second Chance in that slot, the studio is signaling its confidence that this isn't just another sequel, it's an event film. A film meant to bring people back to theaters, to create moments of laughter, tears, and nostalgia, all wrapped up in the magic of cinema. And let's not forget the cultural weight that comes with reviving a film like this. Pretty Woman wasn't just a love story. It was a cultural shift. It gave us one of the most beloved performances in film history, made Julia Roberts a household name, and delivered lines and scenes that are still quoted and reenacted today. The red dress, the shopping spree, the fire escape ending. These moments are etched into cinematic history. To revisit that world after all this time is to invite generations both old and new into a shared experience. For older fans, it's a return to a cherished memory. For younger audiences, it's an introduction to a legend. Already, social media is buzzing with excitement. Posts, hashtags, and fan theories are flooding platforms. Many fans are calling it the reunion we didn't know we needed. Others are cautiously optimistic, hoping the sequel can honor the original while still telling a fresh, meaningful story. And that's where the true challenge lies. Not in recreating what came before, but in expanding it in a way that feels authentic. This isn't just about a movie, it's about a legacy. It's about giving beloved characters another chapter, and giving audiences another chance to believe in love stories that defy expectations. Pretty Woman, A Second Chance is not just a sequel, it's a promise. A promise that, even in a world filled with sequels, remakes, and reboots, there are still stories worth revisiting, especially when they're told with heart. Asterisk, there are movies that come and go, films that entertain us for a few hours and then fade into memory. And then there are the ones that stay forever. Pretty Woman was one of those rare films that didn't just tell a story, it created a phenomenon. Released in 1990, it wasn't expected to be the cultural milestone it became. Yet it transformed into one of the most beloved romantic comedies of all time, earning over $460 million worldwide and cementing itself in the hearts of audiences everywhere. At the center of it all was Julia Roberts, stepping into the role of Vivian Ward, a woman whose warmth, charm, and resilience turned her into an icon. Paired with Richard Gere as Edward Lewis, a wealthy businessman caught between power and loneliness, the chemistry was undeniable. What could have been a predictable love story instead became something far more electric, an exploration of love that crossed boundaries, defied judgment, and reminded audiences that fairy tales don't always look the way we expect. The film gave us unforgettable scenes that are still celebrated, more than 3 decades later. Who can forget Vivian walking into that upscale boutique, initially rejected by snobbish saleswomen, only to return later in that legendary red dress and declare with a triumphant smile, "Big mistake, huge." That single line became a cultural touchstone, quoted endlessly in pop culture, parodied in television shows, and even used in advertising campaigns. And then, of course, there's the ending, Edward climbing the fire escape, flowers in hand, to declare his love. It was the kind of cinematic moment that audiences live for. A modern-day fairy tale etched into history, but Pretty Woman wasn't just about style or iconic lines. It was about shifting perspectives. Vivian wasn't written as a damsel in distress. She was witty, independent, and self-aware, a woman who dared to ask for more than life had given her. And Edward wasn't a savior, he was a man who needed saving too from his empty existence defined by money and control. Their love story wasn't just about romance, it was about transformation. It showed that love, when it's real, doesn't just comfort you, it changes you. This message resonated deeply with audiences in 1990, and it still resonates today. In a time when romantic comedies were often dismissed as light or predictable, Pretty Woman redefined the genre. It proved that love stories could be fun and glamorous while also being heartfelt and powerful. It gave women a heroine they could root for and gave men a character they could admire not for his wealth, but for his vulnerability. The impact of the film extended far beyond the screen. Julia Roberts went from rising actress to global superstar, winning a Golden Globe for her performance and earning an Academy Award nomination. Richard Gere, already known for his dramatic roles, became a symbol of the charming leading man. And together they became one of cinema's most iconic pairs, a couple whose names still conjure up instant nostalgia, but perhaps the greatest legacy of Pretty Woman is its staying power. More than 30 years later, new generations continue to discover it. It streams on countless platforms, plays on cable reruns, and is studied in film schools as an example of how a simple story, told with heart, can become timeless. Couples still recreate Vivian and Edward's moments for anniversaries, weddings, and proposals. Fashion houses still cite the film as inspiration. From the little black cocktail dress to the opera gown that became legendary, the movie also sparked important conversations about class, judgment, and the way society views people based on appearances or circumstances. Vivian's journey from being looked down upon to being celebrated mirrored real-life struggles faced by many. It was a reminder that dignity, strength, and worth aren't defined by status, but by how you carry yourself and what you believe you deserve. That message has aged beautifully, making Pretty Woman more than just a romantic comedy. It became a statement, a cultural mirror, and a fairy tale rooted in reality. When fans heard about the upcoming sequel, their first thought wasn't just curiosity about the plot, it was nostalgia. It was the chance to revisit a story that shaped their understanding of love, resilience, and hope. Pretty Woman left such a mark on the world that any continuation feels less like a new movie and more like reuniting with old friends you haven't seen in decades, but whose laughter, tears, and joy you still remember as if it were yesterday. And that is why the announcement of Pretty Woman, A Second Chance matters. It's not just about what comes next in the story, it's about honoring a legacy that has endured for over 3 decades. When the words Pretty Woman, A Second Chance were officially announced, it was like Hollywood dropped a love letter into the hands of millions of fans. For decades, people speculated about what a sequel might look like. Now, at last, we have a glimpse into the world that awaits us in December 2025. While the studio has carefully guarded many details, what has been revealed is enough to set imaginations on fire. The first confirmed detail is the release date, December 19th, 2025. This isn't just any release window, it's the most competitive and symbolic one. December is the season of family gatherings, of cinematic blockbusters, of movies that aim not only to entertain but to leave a lasting mark. By choosing this time of year, the studio is making a bold statement. Pretty Woman, A Second Chance isn't just a sequel, it's an event. It's meant to bring audiences of multiple generations together, from those who fell in love with Vivian and Edward back in 1990, to younger viewers eager to see what all the excitement is about. Now let's talk story. While the script remains under lock and key, insiders suggest the film will explore themes of rediscovery, resilience, and most importantly, what happens to love when time has passed, when life has tested it, and when second chances appear in unexpected ways. The title alone, A Second Chance, suggests that this won't be a straightforward continuation where everything is still perfect. Life has changed. The years have gone by, and the beauty of this sequel lies in confronting those changes head-on. Reports say that Julia Roberts and Richard Gere are both expected to reprise their iconic roles. If true, this reunion alone guarantees goosebumps. Audiences have spent decades wondering what Vivian Ward and Edward Lewis's lives would look like beyond the fire escape. Did their love survive the real world? Did Vivian's dreams flourish, or did she struggle in ways we never saw? Did Edward truly change his ways, or did old habits return once the romance of the moment faded? These are the questions that make this sequel more than just nostalgic, it makes it necessary. Early whispers from the production team describe Vivian as a woman who has built a life for herself, shaped by both triumphs and heartbreaks. She is no longer the wide-eyed dreamer of 1990, but a woman with experience, perspective, and strength forged by time. Edward, too, is said to be a man changed, not just by age, but by the choices he's made in the decades since. Their paths may have diverged, but as fate would have it, they are drawn together again. The sequel asks, can love, once lost or tested, find new life, or does the past cast too long a shadow? Another exciting detail is the promise of new characters. The sequel will reportedly introduce younger figures who bring fresh energy into the story. Characters who may challenge Vivian and Edward, reflect the modern world, and perhaps even mirror the struggles they once faced. This creates a bridge between generations, ensuring the film speaks not just to longtime fans, but also to new audiences who will see themselves in these fresh storylines behind the camera. The film carries a sense of respect for its roots. Although Gary Marshall, the beloved director of the original, passed away in 2016, the creative team has vowed to honor his legacy. The sequel is being guided by filmmakers who worked closely with him and who understand the heart that made Pretty Woman more than just another rom-com. They've promised not to remake the magic, but to continue it, to explore what love looks like not only in its beginning, but in its middle and even in its second act. As for the tone, insiders suggest that the film won't simply be a lighthearted comedy. Instead, it will balance humor and romance with deeper emotional beats. After all, time changes everything. Life isn't as simple as a fire escape rescue. Relationships evolve, dreams shift, And sometimes the greatest love stories aren't about beginnings, but about finding the courage to begin again. Already, fan speculation is running wild. Some believe the sequel will show Vivian and Edward as a long-parted couple, reunited after years apart. Others think it will explore their journey together, highlighting how they navigated the challenges of marriage, family, and career. There are even rumors of a storyline involving Vivian mentoring a younger woman, who reminds her of herself, bringing the story full circle and creating a new legacy for a new generation. What we do know for certain is this: the sequel has been designed not just as a movie, but as an experience. The studio has teased that audiences can expect callbacks to iconic moments from the original musical cues, fashion references, even nods to beloved lines. But these won't be cheap imitations. They'll serve as emotional touchstones, reminding fans of where the story began while guiding them into where it's headed. In an age where sequels often struggle to capture the spirit of their predecessors, Pretty Woman: A Second Chance has the potential to do something rare: honor the past while creating something meaningful for the present. It isn't just about watching two characters reunite. It's about seeing ourselves reflected in their journey. Because who among us hasn't wondered about second chances? Who hasn't looked back at the roads not taken, the loves that faded, or the dreams that shifted and thought, what if? That's what makes this sequel so powerful. It's not just Vivian and Edward's story anymore. It's ours. Anticipation is a powerful thing. It's the heartbeat that keeps audiences waiting in the dark before the curtains rise. The electricity in the air when a trailer drops, the collective whisper of millions asking the same question: what will it be like? That is exactly where we are now with Pretty Woman: A Second Chance. The moment the announcement was made, the world shifted into countdown mode. Every headline, every rumor, every hint from the production has only fueled the excitement further. On social media, fans are already calling this the romantic event of the decade. Longtime viewers are reliving their favorite memories from the original, posting clips of Vivian's laugh, Edward's smile, and the fire escape finale. Younger audiences, who grew up hearing about Pretty Woman from parents and grandparents, are discovering it for the first time, creating a rare cross-generational buzz. It's not often that a film bridges decades of moviegoers, but this sequel has managed to do exactly that. Before even releasing a single trailer, what makes this anticipation so powerful is the emotional weight behind it. This isn't just another film hitting theaters in December. It's a return to a story that shaped how we imagine love, resilience, and fairy tales. The promise of seeing Vivian and Edward again, older, wiser, and touched by time, feels like reconnecting with old friends. And isn't that what the best cinema does? It doesn't just entertain us. It welcomes us back into a world we thought we had left behind. As the December 2025 release draws closer, one thing is clear: Pretty Woman: A Second Chance isn't just about nostalgia. It's about reminding us that love stories don't have an expiration date. That even after decades, there is still room for passion, growth, and magic. When the lights dim and the screen flickers to life, audiences around the world will lean forward, hearts racing, ready to fall in love all over again. Because this sequel isn't just a movie, it's a reunion. It's a celebration. It's a second chance, not only for Vivian and Edward, but for every single one of us who ever believed in the power of love,